And we are live. Bid Left Nut back at you with Stace and Johnny Miata, another episode. And we have something interesting to talk about today, as always. But John had an interesting idea for a topic. Tell him what it is.
I am so excited to talk about this because it's one of the things that kind of swirls around my head. And basically, what we're going to talk about today is old money versus new money when it pertains to cars. And I think it's important to note right from the jump, we're not talking about net worth. I don't really care if you have any money or you don't have any money. That's not really what this is about. But there's an aesthetic, there's a look. The old money look is something that I've always been fascinated by. You ever see somebody walk into a room and you just know they're loaded, or at least that's what they want you to believe? I think that that is true of people. It's also true of their cars. It doesn't mean that I went out and bought a Lamborghini. That's not necessarily old money. So today, I think what we're going to discuss is what is old money? What's that look that is so elusive?
Yeah.
And what cars offer up the old money versus new money look?
Let me ask you a question. So I was thinking about this because I was trying to be a good partner on this. And so you had this idea. So I started thinking through it. To you, what are the hallmarks of an old money car? Even just a couple of them.
Yeah, some of the hallmarks, some of the things that kind of shout or whisper old money, if you will, and maybe that's the first point is it's not the thing that's in your face. And I've heard the adage pretty much my whole life. New money shouts, but old money whispers. So it's not the newest, it's not the most technologically advanced. It's probably got some age to it because if you have that much money, there's a reason why you have it. You're not spending it all the time. So something with a little bit of patina. I know that we have some cars picked out that we can get into to kind of illustrate what we think old money is, or at least the aesthetic is. But yeah, it's something that's not latest and greatest. It's something that's a little less, it's a little more under the radar, if you will.
Yep.
Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's something that's nice but not too nice. It's almost apologizing for its luxury or its performance. It's yeah, it's not in your face, obviously, but there's certain hallmarks, I think. And so generally with an old money car, the interior is generally nicer. The interior is more opulent or more luxury than the outside. The outside might be more utilitarian. It's just not going to call attention to itself. That doesn't mean that people don't want to be pampered or taken care of well. It's just that they don't need the world to know that they're sitting in rich Corinthian leather or whatever it might be. Also, there's always an emphasis on passenger comfort just as much as the driver's enjoyment. It's not like one person gets all the joy. It's for everybody in the car, whether it's a 2-passenger car or whether it's a 4-passenger car, or even with the case of a wagon with a third row, all 6 or 7 people.
I think that's very true. I think you hit all the good points. I think in addition to that, old money is all about longevity. I want to buy the best car that's going to last for the longest amount of time, right? Because those in the know that you keep your car as long as you can. So you buy something that's going to last. Maybe you pay more for it. Maybe you pay twice as much as a normal car, but you're going to drive it forever and ever and ever. And so that's where kind of classic cars come in, right? Some of the cars that you see in this amazing collage.
All of them, all the cars.
Cars that I love this. This is what I mentioned it to Stace earlier. This is what the inside of my head looks like. There's a bunch of cars in there that are known for their reliability and longevity. So again, we're going to explore it, but that's kind of the topic of today's show.
Yeah, it's but on this collage, there's some new money, there's some old money in there mixed in. It's sometimes I bet it's kind of easy to tell which is which. But I'm going to let you jump in first, and if there's something on the board that you wanted to talk about in depth, maybe we can figure that out and walk through that, and you can tell us why you think it is either old or new money.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start, or if you want me to start with the top of the heap, so to speak, the the car to me that exemplifies old money, I can do that, and it would have to be the S123, the Mercedes-Benz station wagon.
Yes.
It is all the things.
It is all the things. Yeah. I wonder if I had a link to one. Let me just, you keep talking about it and I'm going to go look
Okay.
for one. Okay.
So the car that we've selected to talk about first is that S123. Most people know the internal designation is the W123. That is for the sedan. S denotes station wagon. And these cars were produced from 1977 to 1985. The W123 and its brother, the S123, are kind of known as the most reliable cars on Earth.
Yes.
And again, it fits into the hallmark of what old money is. But when these cars are well sorted, they just look like nothing else. There we go.
Yeah. It took a
So
second.
this is a 1980. It's got the diesel engine in it. It makes the diesel clatter. It makes all the right noises. That's actually really, how did you practice that? That's not a first time thing.
I hear the diesel noises in my head.
So I love these things.
Yeah.
I love everything about them. I love the reliability associated with them. I love the design. I love the longevity. Me personally, my mom had a sedan when I was a kid, and I love that car. So the car that we have up now is a nicely preserved example. It's not perfect. It is sort of that classic Mercedes beige color, which, love it or hate it, a lot of these cars came in that color.
Yeah.
But
I'm not a fan. I'll tell you, I'm not a fan. I think there are better colors from the period, but
agreed, I do too. But it is very period correct for the car. It's part of my childhood. My mom didn't have this color, but there were so many of them out there. One of the things I really like about this car, I like the wheels, the bunt cake, the bunt design, the 14-inch wheels. This car's a US spec, so it's got the larger bumpers, it's got the sealed beam headlights. Most of the time I'm into Euro spec stuff, the smaller bumpers, the nicer headlights, but I think it works on this car really well. But what I'm looking at is a car that's not perfect. And again, I think that's what goes into the old money aesthetic.
yeah.
It's not a perfect recreation of a 1980. It's just a well-maintained car that you can imagine has been in somebody's family for generations.
I imagine cars like this. I always like, my wife and I will call certain cars Wes Anderson cars, because you'd imagine a character in a Wes Anderson movie driving one of these. There's a very polite, well-educated kid in the backseat of this car who is a little bit rebellious. He's a character in a Wes Anderson movie.
That is a perfect description. I think of it as old New England, right? Like, you live in Boston, so you're kind of surrounded. My mom and dad live on Cape Cod, and so I think about all of the people that I've known over the last 30 years that probably came over on the Mayflower, for all I know, and just never left. But those folks would be driving, and often drive, cars like this. It's just it's a whole vibe, right?
It is. It absolutely is. And I just want to say, your parents have lived on the Cape for so long, and I've never been invited once. So I'm just putting that out there.
I mean, you've been to Cape Cod plenty of times.
Oh, I've been to the Cape.
Oh, but not. Oh, no. Now I get it. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think we never overlap is the problem.
We're
going to rectify this.
Forward. Just keep going. Just keep going.
This is our year.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the cars. So yeah, I love these. I think the only thing that makes, so there's something particular about these that makes them, I think, super cool. And it's the third row. Let's see if we can catch a photo. Oh, sorry. If we can get a photo of it from the interiors are just so nice. They're just so classic. I don't know if this has a third row, does it?
I don't know if this one does. I was starting to get nervous as you mentioned the third row, because I don't remember if it does or not.
In lieu of the third row, though, I would love to see a dog cage back there, because I think that's the height of old money. You're taking like your purebred, whatever they are, over to to the country club so they can share on the golf course, something like that. I don't know, but I just think that looks so cool. It's just
Perhaps you have a little badge on the grill of your Chesapeake Bay Retriever outline, right? Like
right.
something like that. And yeah, the net would work perfectly. Um, this car's got 160 or 180,000 miles. Maybe that's 163. Maybe my eyes are failing me. I
I
don't
think
know.
that's 163, which is low for these guys. These things will go to the end of the earth. They'll love you to the moon and back. I mean, they will drive. I mean, so if you were in any like Middle Eastern country or Eastern Europe and you needed a cab, what's the first thing you would climb into?
I mean, you're climbing into this all day long, right? And
Yeah.
and by the way, extend that to Africa and pretty much anywhere. There's a reason why these cars are still all over the world. There's a reason why they're still super popular, because they work, they run, they drive, they work. Even when they're neglected, they work. Um,
Does the toupee bother you at all over here?
Not really. I guess what would bother me more is if the dash is super cracked. That would bother me. So it's forgivable for the age. I don't
It's
like the aftermarket stereo,
yeah, and it
but
does.
that's
But it is that stereo, I think, is probably period correct. No, it's probably not. It's probably like 10 years newer than the car.
it
But
looks
it's
like it's a sound stream, so it was like a low end. If it had a Blaupunkt in it,
yeah,
okay, that would be a little better.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Uh,
anyway, this is top of the heap. We're starting at the best of the best, at least in my mind. This is as old money as you get. That's the
yes.
aesthetic that we're going for.
Yeah. And
So
sorry, go
what
ahead.
else? We have others though, right? What's that? We have other cars.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, so there's some other cars. Why does this keep happening? I understand. I understand what's going on. So, I just can't make it stop. So there are other cars here. So for instance, there's some that you might spot as new money, and a couple of cars that I think of as new money. Do you mind if I pick those out right
I,
now, John?
I would love for you.
So,
Yeah, please.
not all of them. We may not agree on all of them, but I think for Lamborghini, new money, and I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's an issue. I just think it's clearly new money. And I think if you go back to the founding of the company, Ferruccio Lamborghini, he created this company in reaction to the old guard, Enzo Ferrari. So he was making different cars. And it's just they were outlandish, not just in design but in construction. Just the concept of him starting this company was outlandish. And to me, that's new money. New money is taking a chance. New money takes a risk. New money doesn't give a fuck what other people think about it. It's just going to do what it likes. And I think that's fine. And we probably should have said this: whether you're new money, old money, or no money, we love you. There's no issue here. We're just calling these cars out as what they are. So any
Yeah.
Lamborghini, new or old, new money, very flashy. I think that's cool.
Did I ever tell you that my dad owned a Lamborghini?
I never would have imagined that. What did your dad own? Was it an Espada?
No, he
Um,
owned. So we lived in Europe for a while. We lived in
mhm.
Belgium.
And I was never invited there either. But
Well, you know what? And now we don't live there anymore, so that's going to be a harder invite to get.
okay.
Um, but we had our furnace was made by Lamborghini.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, that
That
was the
was
whole
the
thing.
buildup.
I
Oh man. Okay. Anyway, back to cars that I think are new money. The E30. I mean,
yeah.
this is like,
Tell
what do you think?
Well, I disagree, but I want to hear your reasoning, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong. I don't know.
So the E30, like a 318, is I think somebody who wants a car that appears like it's a great European vehicle. And I'm not talking now, I'm talking in period. So
Okay.
right now I think they're wonderful cars. We can look back on them and say, this is a fantastic car. However, I would say back in period, this is somebody who's like, I'm buying a car that most people, like in 1981, most people in my neighborhood have never seen before, and they're gonna think I am the shit.
Yep.
I think that's why I see those cars as as new money. I could be completely wrong. It might just be like cult of one here, just like a really small sample, but that's my thinking. What do you
So it's
think?
interesting as we kind of set this up and put parameters around what we're talking about today. in period versus contemporary makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I guess when I was doing the assignment, I chose different cars from different eras. I didn't stick to the 70s or 80s, but I kind of looked at it under the guise of what you're saying. Um, what are, if we look at this collage here and you see that there's a newer Lexus, it's a 2006 LS 430 and a newer Land Cruiser.
Mhm.
It kind of doesn't matter the generation. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but it makes a lot of sense. Yes, a base model BMW at the time of production was definitely new money, right? You're stretching to get to a 318i, and it's got no options except it's got a rondelle. Therefore, it
Yeah.
has to be good.
It's got
And
crank
that wasn't the
windows.
case.
It's got crank windows. It had it. Hopefully, it has AC. You've got the velour seats. Yeah.
It's that's a fair point. When you're stretching, when you're buying the brand but not the model, because there's other cars out there that have actual options
Yeah.
attached to them for less money,
If,
you're definitely new money.
instead of buying that 1981 318, if you bought like a Buick LeSabre, you would have had the top of the line. You would have had real leather, cruise control, AM FM.
Pillow tufted seats, not just seats,
Right.
tufted with pillows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
All right, man. So moving along here, what's next? Like, what do you want to jump into next? If you want to,
I'll tell you what, let's talk about the Lexus and Land Cruiser
you want
a
to do
little
that?
bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you
I
want to
think
go
so.
to that? Okay. So let me know when you want to talk about the event that we did on Bidfinit, the 4 decades of old money. But yeah, let's go to this first because I think I have them pulled up.
Okay.
With any luck, I'm going to be able to pull them up. So
While
Lexus,
you're
right?
pulling it up, yeah.
Let's pull.
So I chose this LS, and obviously it's newer than a lot of the cars on our list, or a lot of the cars in that collage. It's a 2005, but it kind of lends to the point where we're not talking about, it doesn't have to be of a certain age. It doesn't have to be a perfect car. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about an old money aesthetic. And if
This
we
one's
think of,
not perfect. It's had an accident.
it has had an accident, it's had a few owners, it's still got low miles, but the thing that jumps out to me about these cars, the reason I put that in the old money category is because they're incredibly reliable.
Yeah.
They're tanks. They have a reputation for, I mean, I think everybody's heard of Matt Farah's million mile Lexus. That was an LS 400. But the LS 430 has such a great reputation for reliability. You can drive it for the next 20 years. That interior is so incredibly comfortable. It's going to wear well, meaning as it wears in and as you get creases, it doesn't look cheap. It looks lived in. It looks used, but in a way that is inviting as opposed to get me out of this. A 20-year-old Cavalier looks like a 20-year-old Cavalier. It looks terrible, right? The seats are ripping. It's a mess.
Something that I've always one of the hallmarks, and I guess I probably should have talked about this, was the focus on safety. So I think
Yeah.
people of means understand how precious life is, and they will spend extra money on the safest cars. And there's one of the cars I'm going to talk about later has a special safety accolade, which we'll focus on for a second.
And I'll
But
tell you what, that totally lends itself to this car, right? Because even 20 years ago, side airbags, curtain airbags, it's a very, very safe car. I'd put my kid in this car in a minute.
mhm.
Um, it's just such a great car. And this
which,
specific
which
example
kid?
with low
I mean,
miles,
wait, which kid? The first or the second?
uh, it's a good point. I'd put the second kid in because he doesn't pay attention as much. And so, you know, um, but anyway, very safe cars. And I think that these cars are going to age well. I think they're going to increase in value because people realize how well built they are. Um, I'm in love with these, and it just fits that old money aesthetic. I'm not looking to show everybody that I can afford the nicest, newest car. I want something that I'm going to be in love with, and an LS 430 definitely does it for me.
Yeah. You want to talk about that that Grand Wagoneer now?
We can talk about the
That-
Grand Wagoneer, sure.
yeah.
So this for me, also old money, right? We're definitely talking old money here. Um,
Yeah. You take it to the cabin in Maine that you have, right?
yeah, I mean, you know, on Nantucket, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a Grand Wagoneer. I
Hmm.
don't know why you. Well, it doesn't matter why you would swing a dead cat, but these are
Yeah.
everywhere. It's that old Yankee aesthetic again. Um, but I will say this is a little more about looks than longevity. Yeah, it's got the AMC derived 360 in it. Um, these never particularly drove well, even when new, but they look so cool. And
Yeah.
you mentioned Wes Anderson. I think these cars have been showcased in his films before.
Yeah.
If they haven't, they should have.
Let me
This
ask you
one
a
was
question.
done by Wagon Master, which is a famous restoration shop. Usually
Mhm.
require usually you get a premium for a Wagon Master touched Grand Wagoneer.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question because you said it doesn't have to do with looks, but in period, this thing wasn't, people weren't buying these because they were attractive. I think they were buying them because they were practical and usable and like like a tank you could drive through the apocalypse in this.
Yeah, they
This
were
was the
old school.
yeah.
They were old school, and so the technology was old school. And the point, I guess, for these at the time was, well, if it breaks, I can bring it to any gas station and anybody can fix it, and they'll have the parts for it,
Yeah.
right? And that was that is a valid explanation of what reliability is.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Reliability, fixability, sustainability. Like, yeah, what you weren't waiting 6 months for your for the Wasser pumping to come in for your 318
yes.
from Bavaria.
You did have to add an oak cup holder, though.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is nice. Is that, do you
So
think it's hardwired? Do you think it's bolted into place, or is that like just you're gonna have to drive careful, pop, pop, pop?
I for their sake, whoever owns this or whoever's about to own it, I hope that it is bolted in.
Yeah.
Nobody wants hot coffee on their floor. But
Now,
like,
we talk about safety with the LS 430, and you'd put your kid in it, your less favorite child. How fast? So if you had your family in this and you were on the Mass Pike, how fast would you be comfortable going in this? Speedometer says 100, but how fast would you go?
I mean, I don't know that I'd be on the Mass Pike in this, to be fair. I don't know that I would take it on the Mass Pike. And I love these. I definitely want to own one before I die because it's just so Americana. But I don't know that I'm going to go on the highway with it. Yeah, I'm going to go slow. To answer your question, I'm going to go super slow. But yeah, something about it though, man. It's just, I remember
Yeah.
looking at these when they were
Would you,
new in the
so
showroom.
if you had to be in a high-speed pursuit with this or a Defender, which would you choose?
Ooh, um, that's a great question.
One that's never been asked before in the
No,
history of everything. It's
we are
never been
breaking
asked.
new ground right here. I'm gonna go with this because it's got a roof, although it doesn't really have any pillars to sustain the roof. So it's a draw. It's a draw.
I would take this too. I would take this too. Um, this might be lumbering and slow. I think this is lumbering and slow in a better way than the Defender would be.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll tell you what I love about it, and we were just seeing it in the pictures. That tailgate that doubles as a bench,
Mhm.
I'm all over that. It's such a
Yeah,
great feature.
you would literally be all over that. Like you'd be laying there waiting for somebody to
Feed me grapes.
grapes, Triscuits, whatever, whatever you want, man. All right, so next up, uh, this is your show today. What do you want to talk
Okay.
about? Why don't you tell us why you picked, because you created this event and you also won it, you son of a bitch. Why don't you tell us why you created this and what went into choosing these vehicles? And then, if you want, we can dive into two. I'll take the second two. You take the
Okay.
first two,
Okay.
and we'll talk
So
about them.
So, as Stace mentioned, we created, or I created this event last week. So, this was before today's podcast, obviously. But this is kind of what got the ball rolling. I like to think about the way cars make me feel, and
Tingly, tingly.
they definitely make me feel tingly in a lot of different places, like Maine and Massachusetts and Pennsylvania. But the four cars that I selected, I said, what, if we were trustafarians, if I had a trust fund, if money was no object because my grandfather was a Vanderbilt, what
Mhm.
would I drive? Because I didn't have to prove anything to anybody. What kind of cars represent that old money aesthetic? And it's worth noting that you and I grew up in Connecticut, which kind of has a reputation in the rest of the country for that old money sort of vibe.
Yeah.
So
People
anyway,
don't know
I picked
Danbury and Derby, so
yes, well, yeah, not everywhere in Connecticut, and it's not everybody in Connecticut, unfortunately. I wish, but
Waterbury.
so I we have four cars, and an MGB isn't necessarily a high dollar car. That's the first car that I selected.
He's right, folks. MGB,
Not a
neither
high
high
dollar
dollar
car,
nor high status.
nor is a we'll skip the 911 for a minute because that is a high dollar car.
Yeah.
But a 99 Jaguar is not exactly worth a ton of money. And the nice thing here is we can see what it closed at. For 55.
Hey, remember, don't steal my thunder. I've
Oh,
done research on this one. These two, the
all right. I'm
Dakota.
not gonna go much further than to say all four of these cars are not necessarily the most expensive or the most restored or any of that. But
Yeah.
when we talk about that MGB and some family owned it for 40 years, somebody was able to pass this car down through the generations, and then apparently that person just didn't want it. But I love the idea of the old sports car in the garage. When your kids walk through the garage and their buddies go, "What is that?" "Oh, that's my dad's old MG. We've had it forever. It's always been around."
In your case, kids would walk through the garage and look at the furnace and say, "What is that?" And you'd say, "Oh, it's my dad's Lamborghini."
It's my dad's Lamborghini. He really loves it. He's on the weekends he takes it to furnace shows. Uh,
Ooh, that's hot.
So this I don't know why that tickled me, but it really did. I could just see my old man at a furnace show. This MGB is a 1976. Somebody backdated it, put the chrome bumpers on it, for which I'm grateful because the cars look so much better that way.
And then
But
they parked it over. Then they parked it over
we,
by the woodshed. I know.
yeah,
The,
we park it on the wood pile. Why do you ask? No reason. Um, but it's just a nice, well-kept car. It doesn't look absolutely perfect. It looks like the bodywork might be a little wavy. It's clean for sure, but it's not this museum piece, right? It looks like a car that's been loved and enjoyed. And maybe that's part of the old money aesthetic. You're not protecting it for future generations necessarily. You're enjoying it, you're maintaining it, and you have the means to not get rid of it when times get bad, which is so, that's what happens to a lot of car folk, right?
yeah,
If we need money, we dump out of our cars and we say someday I'm going to get it back. This person never had to do that.
right.
It kind of lends itself to the old money aesthetic in my mind.
Yeah, and you see that, like, so when times do get bad, when there's the perception or when consumer sentiment does take a stumble, like we are right now, you start to see cars come up for auction, and like somebody takes a haircut, like 100 grand haircut on a new Ferrari or something, and then you kind of can put the pieces together. Either somebody doesn't give a crap, I
Right.
don't know who doesn't care about losing money, or somebody's like, I need to get rid of this thing right now because like I've got a boat payment and I'm 3 months behind on this house that I can't afford, and my third trophy wife wants a whatever. I mean, it's like you see that happening, but not in the case of this MG.
So new money, I think what we're saying here, and again, I'm not, listen, new money, old money, no money, the idea of overextending yourself. The old money aesthetic is like, I buy it once, I keep it forever. Once it's paid for, it
Yeah.
doesn't really cost me a lot of money to have it. New money tends to say, well, if I have to have the newest Ferrari and I have to extend myself a little bit, it's fine because the good times never end, which is not necessarily true. So an inexpensive car like this MG, where you're driving it on sunny days when it's nice out, and you do that for the next 40 years because it's paid for, it's not costing you a lot of money, but you're getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. Again, that's the old money aesthetic to me. That's the old money vibe that that I'm in love with. And this car for me just kind of describes or explains what I mean.
Are you in love
But I
with this one too?
Yeah, I this one's a little different from the standpoint a 911. Sure, a 911 at one point was a used car, right? You and I could have bought these all day long for 15 to $20,000. I
When?
know
How
I
long
know
ago?
this. Oh gosh, probably early 90s, late 80s. Like nobody really. This one's in 88, so maybe later than that, maybe mid 90s. But at one point, this was just a used car like any other, a little nicer, but they were inexpensive, and they're not inexpensive anymore. But if you had kept it that whole time, again, you buy it, you keep it, um, you'd be doing all right. I mean, these cars have seen a resurgence. They're worth a ton. I forget what this closed at. I think it's somewhere around
88.9, I
seven.
think 88.911, as a matter of fact.
Very clever. I
Yeah.
like what they did.
Super clever. I love it when people do that.
But it's a nice clean piece. Obviously well maintained. I think the description explains that some work has been lavished upon it, and maybe that's another feather in the cap of the old money car, right?
Ding,
When the
ding,
car
ding, ding,
gets,
ding.
I like that. You're good, man. Between the yeah, that is uncanny. It kind of gives me goosebumps how well you do that. You can put money in an old Porsche. You can maintain it. You can give it an overhaul. Something that you probably wouldn't do for a lesser valued car or a car that doesn't have as big a following. Why am I going to put 20 grand into a $20,000 I can't
IROC?
even an IROC? Yeah, maybe an IROC, right? Why am I going to put 20 grand in an IROC when it's worth 10 grand? I'm not. But I might do that for a 911 because history has shown that these cars are going to increase in value, that there's always going to be a following,
Yeah.
especially for air-cooled 911s.
But I would say even beyond that, I don't know why I stopped on this photo. Um, I would say beyond that though is there are certain cars that are well maintained because of the people who own them, and it's not necessarily because of an investment, because they understand that this is what you do with an automobile. If I'm going to put myself and my family in this car, I'm going to take care of it. It's not a disposable thing. And we're going to talk about that when we get to the Vandenplas in a couple of seconds,
Okay.
if we ever get to it. Not just kidding. But that is something I think that's an inherent quality to the old money folk. Is this feeling that I need to maintain this thing because that's what you do. You buy quality and you maintain it. You don't buy disposable.
I couldn't agree more. Um, and with that,
Lots of paint.
lots of paint.
Okay.
Michelin's, right? Spend on tires.
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah, the Pagoda we're gonna look at has Michelin's on it too. Yeah.
That's always one of the first things I look at when I'm looking at a car. But yeah, let's talk about this Jag. Why don't you
You want to talk about this one first?
well, whatever you want. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So this does not have Michelin's on it. It has a pair of Star Lines, I think, which is a Cooper brand. But that's one thing I did notice. So this is, let me just find it. Yeah, here's the Vanden Plas. So this thing sold earlier in the week. Actually, it's last Sunday, I think, for $5,550. Now, let's take a step back. Before we talk about how much this car went for, let's talk about what it is. So this is a 99 Jaguar Vanden Plas. And you say to yourself, what does Vanden Plas mean? Is it a disease? Is it something I order in the restaurant? No. Vanden Plas was a coach builder from Holland, the Netherlands, something like that. But it was a designation that Jaguar and Daimler, a Jaguar brand, used to use for their highest luxury model. So this was a designation of like the ultimate trim package that you could get on this car. In 99, the Jaguar Vanden Plas was a hell of a car. So I don't know how you feel about the color, John. I'm going to guess that you and I agree on so many things that we both like this.
I love the color. I love the color.
I think it is gorgeous. I forgot what it was called. It was what is it
Is
called?
it Thistle?
It's Alpine Metallic. It's close to Thistle, but it's called Alpine Metallic. So we're going to scroll down to this. I'm going to just pan through some of the photos here. So this was a car. If you notice the rear door, how long that door is, this is a long wheelbase car. There's comfort for whoever's sitting back there, whether it's you and your wife and you're being chauffeured, or your kids, or your nanny, or your nanny and her friends, whatever you're going. Somebody back there is in comfort and luxury. I have to admit, from this angle, kind of looks like a, you know, similar. It looks like an LTD, like a Grand Marquis, sort
It
of.
does. It's
I
the
think
angle though.
I think it's a
That's not
wide angle
really
lens.
how they look.
I think that's what it's doing. I think this section here is being blown out. It's being exaggerated. But yeah, okay. We'll move on. Other than that, I think this is a very elegant car. Hey, there's the neighbor walking, wondering why you're taking photos. But I just want to flip quickly to the interior, if I can.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
Wow.
Truly. Because I think I know where you're going with this. I hope I do, because it's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. So the interior is luxury. It's sumptuous. If like from the door panels, if you look at the door panels, that's walnut. It's a walnut veneer, and I believe it has another inlay of another wood. That's not plastic. It's not. It's not plywood. It is gorgeous, gorgeous book matched wood. I don't like wood on the steering wheel, but that was an aesthetic at the time. That's fine. Was there something you wanted to mention about the
Yeah,
interior?
so first off, the wood I was definitely going to say something about, and it's so correct. I think what I love about Jaguar, previous Jaguars, this era of Jaguar, if you're good at something, do it till it kills you, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I think that's a
Wow.
Charles. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
Okay.
Jaguar was so good at being old English.
Mhm.
They're not. I leave it at that. They're not, and they've taken a direction here. Wait, hang on to that picture for a second.
Yeah.
Um, they're not old English anymore, and they were so good at it. And this car exemplified what made Jaguars amazing for so long.
Yeah.
Uh, and they don't do that anymore, and that makes me sad. Anyway, I'm going to get back. Now, are you going to mention anything about these seats by any chance?
I was going to mention the picnic tables that fold down,
Yes.
which are not like, look, that's a solid piece of walnut. Those are not veneered pieces of plywood or particle board or particle man or anything like that. They're
My
solid
favorite.
pieces of wood.
Yes, my favorite part of the car. Look at the hardware. Look at the hardware. Look
Oh,
how
wait, hold
nice
on.
it looks.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna just drill in. Yeah,
Would
it's
I buy a car for the table behind the front seats? Apparently, the answer is I would, because I would buy this car in a heartbeat.
well. Let's talk. Wait a second. So you talk. So we're looking at this car and we're saying how wonderful it is, and it is. It's sumptuous. But let's go back for a second. Speaking about buying it, it sold for like $5,600, and it has under 100,000 miles on it. I think it has. What did it have? Like 80,000 miles. Johnny, come on, help me out here.
75, I want to say, but what do I, 89?
89,000 miles. This is insane. This is like one of our earlier shows. You and I were joking about you can't buy a $500 car anymore. Why should we even try? But this for $5,000 is an amazing bargain.
I totally agree with you. Do you know why, or do you have a theory on why this particular car or the Vanden Plasses don't bring big money? Because I have a theory on it.
The people who buy them are dead.
Well, okay, yeah, certainly. All right. I mean, and all kidding aside, we talk about stuff like that. When you're looking at,
I'm not kidding.
yeah, when we talk about traditional sort of luxury,
Mhm.
yeah, that market is dying off. But the other part of
Tell me.
this is, see, people are agreeing in the comments.
Yeah.
Jaguar made the XJR with the supercharged engine, and that's the one that everybody wants. Those cars go for about double. They're still a great value, but they go for about double because they're fast and they make supercharging noises, and that's great. Why you are on fire today. It is like what's the guy from Police Academy?
Oh,
Doesn't matter.
who knows?
Um,
Michael something.
yes, But the point here is the Vandenplas, which is the more luxurious version, is always overlooked because if you like these cars, you go buy the XJR. You don't ever think about the Vandenplas, and as a result, values are super low. I, I, if I had more room and less brains, I think I said that right, but we don't know.
No.
I would have one of these. I think they're stunning for
Yeah,
short money,
I
and
agree.
they're old money.
Yes. Old money, short money. So something else I wanted to talk about from the event 4 decades of old money was the 67 230 SL, affectionately known as a Pagoda. So before we mention the thing about safety,
Mm.
the SL, or this car in particular, it was built from 63 to 71, something like that, 72.
Yeah, 70. Yeah. You got it.
It was the first sports car that was designed with a safety cell. So the passenger compartment is rigid in a way that will help keep you alive in case somebody in a diesel truck or Vandenplas crashes into you. Also, it had one of the first cars to have crumple zones. Why?
Mm.
Because people of means understand the value of life, the value of their time and their children's life. It's different than from that guy on the interstate in that driving that hoopty. He's got 3 ball tires and bad brakes, weaving in and out of traffic. He's got nothing to lose. He doesn't give a
Right,
shit about crumple zones. You know
right.
that guy. He cut you off last week.
Cuts me off every week. Every week. Um, Fair point about these cars and how advanced they were. And it's worth noting that Mercedes-Benz, um, it's not necessarily that way now, but the way it historically was that you would pay double for a Mercedes-Benz over a regular car, but it would last 3 times as long. And
Mhm.
so that kind of economics, it's painful when you shell out the money, but knowing that the car is going to last longer, that it's engineered better, that it's safer, made it a great value
Yeah.
only if you had the means.
Yeah. Yeah. Smart money. Smart money. This car, I wanted to, speaking of old money and Wes Anderson and that kind of conversation. I don't know if you read the comments on this auction, but there was some drama about who owned it, who wants it, who's bidding on it, and it was like a family dynamic that like almost seemed scripted. So reading through the auction or following the auction when it was happening, the car was being sold by a car dealer for the seller, for the owner of the car.
Was it on consignment?
It was on consignment.
Okay.
One of the owner's children was bidding on it and identified himself as the owner's son. So
Oh no.
as you can, oh no,
Oh no.
is the response. As you can imagine, that ruffled some feathers. Some people were a little bit outraged. Like, why are we? I should do this view. Why are we allowing a family member to bid on this
Mhm.
when he's probably just bidding it up? And the seller, the consigner, was like, "Oh no, it's not work. It didn't work that way. Here's what happened." And you guys can read all about it here. Here's what happened. The seller, the owner of the car, wanted to get top dollar for this, and he didn't know how to value it. So he said, let me put it on Bring a Trailer because my 2 sons are arguing over it. And if either of them really wants it, they can buy the car. And I call bullshit on that because there's so
Mhm.
many ways to value a car. If you're thinking, hey, I'm going to split this money up between Chad and Dominic and say how much is each one getting out of for their inheritance or whatever. But
Old money does not pay fees to bring a trailer.
correct.
I think that's probably in the top 10 rules. We don't pay auction fees to auction houses when we already own the item.
Yeah. Listen to
Oh,
Hoppy 18 here. Hoppy says step one, if a quote parent wants to sell a car or home to one of their children, then hire a quote certified appraiser who sets a quote fair market value. I don't know why they're all the quotes here. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
then see which child is willing to pay the most, which I think is logical. But let's just look at the bidding history here. And I don't want to dwell on this. I don't want to sully this car's reputation, but Reg Austin is the seller's son or the owner's son. He identified himself earlier as the owner's son. And so he bid a couple of times. Maybe that was so the bidding is like languishing at 42. And this is on the last day of the auction, May 4th. So it's at 42, it's at 42 and a quarter, 42.5. Do I hear 47? Do I hear no, it's at 43. And it's just like kind of sitting here. It gets at 45. He takes it from 50 to 54, which is almost a 10% jump.
Yep.
Somebody counters him at 55. Somebody counters at 56. He takes it for another jump to 58, at which point it goes to 60 and closes. In fairness, he was really close to the final bid. So if he was a shill, truly a shill, there was a chance he would have got caught holding the bag, right?
Right. Which now he's paying auction fees for nothing.
Correct. I don't know. Bring a trailer. I almost call him bid a trailer. Long conversation here after the close about this. Probably one of the longest conversations I've seen, where they talk about, oh, well, this is on the up and up. You know, we remind sellers that a family member cannot bid on this. Oh, thank you for reminding people. It worked here. Yeah. Anyway.
So first off, I missed all of that when I chose this car. I liked the car and I didn't realize the backstory. But I mean, that can bite you in the ass really quickly. And I guess if I'm bringing a trailer, do I really care? I mean, I know about ethics and all of that, and I'm not dismissing it. But the other side of that is if I'm bringing a trailer and you're bidding the car up and you get caught holding the bag or the music stops and you don't have a chair, do I really care if you're going to pay me? You know, you're probably going to list it again. Maybe you're going to list it again. But yeah, that's just ugly. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I think clearly, so this dude, Reg Austin, and here, Reg Austin, if you're watching this, I don't mean to defame you, and I bet you have you had good intentions, but he has 3 comments. He's put in 2 bids. He's been a member for 2 years, but he doesn't seem to have had a lot of activity. I was going to say, you know, the guy just joined last week just so he can help bump up his dad's the sale value here. I don't know if that's actually true now that I see that he's been here for 2 years. What I do know, what I think happened is he meant to shill here, and I have no proof of this, so I'm just like really talking out of school. He meant to shill, but didn't realize that or remember or put 2 and 2 together and say, oh, my comment before about saying this is my dad's car is all public and people are going to see this, or people will put 2 and 2 together. That's what I think.
That's fair. I mean, I guess in this guy's, who I don't know, in his defense, if I am going to bid something up, if I'm going to do something nefarious, I generally do not announce it. Even if I don't know that it's public knowledge, and I'm not the smartest tool in the shed. I don't think nobody's going to dispute that. But I'm generally not going to be like, hey, that's my dad's car. Yay! So,
yeah, I guess the question then is like, if that was your dad's, if it was truly you were going to bid on this, I would have said, hey, this is my dad's car. It's fantastic. We've had so much work done. We've even put Michelin tires on it. I love it so much. I'm going to bid on it later, folks. I would have called it out at the beginning.
Yeah, to get ahead of it is probably the way to go. And I probably defame my dad in the process. Like, my dad's such a jerk. He's not giving it to me and my brother.
Okay.
The
Hey, let me ask you a question. Speaking about your family dynamics, I know your dad is still with us, and that's wonderful. But in his will, do you think he's leaving the Lamborghini furnace to you?
I mean, I certainly hope so. It's a family heirloom. At this point, I know they keep it in the living room to kind of display, and also keep the house warm. So It serves purposes.
All right. What do you want to talk about next? You want to talk a little bit about some events that we created, old money versus new money. You created another old money event. I created a new money event. You want to talk through those?
I do. Do you want to, since we talked so much about old money, do you want to kick it off with the new money event that you created?
I do. And we still have games for you.
Yeah, I love games.
We got games for you. So
Okay, cool.
I'm going to throw this up on the screen. And so I created an event I'm calling Gonna Splash Some Cash with
That is such
four.
a new money title.
Yes. So here's some cars. So this car is 20 years old, but it reeks of of new money. I mean, those bills still smell wet. Um, also, we have a Hellcat powered 1970 Dodge Charger because this jackass he went to Barrett Jackson and like he probably owns like a landscape company. He's probably done really well for himself, but he's got some money. He's gonna go and buy something that you can hear him coming.
Indeed.
We also have a 2023 Audi RS Avant. Typically, we would say wagon, old
But it's an Audi.
school, old money. But this car has 21-inch wheels. Nothing subtle about it. It's got a rumble. I mean, I love these cars. But
Same. And it's worth noting, right? Because it sounds like, I think throughout our conversation unintentionally, it sounds like we lean towards the old money aesthetic as opposed to new money. I love these. If I could, I would in a heartbeat, probably twice, maybe three times. I love these so much. So
yes,
I'm not um,
right,
criticizing new money. If you got
correct.
it, flaunt it. But
Yeah,
I would flaunt it with an RS6 for
yeah.
sure.
You wouldn't flaunt it with the Maserati Levante
Oh my
Modena.
God.
Yes. Yeah. I love yellow cars. I think you know that about me.
I
Um,
do.
yellow Italian cars.
Even
But
this one? Like, or especially this
no,
one?
I'm not a fan of the Alpha SUVs. I'm not a fan of the Maserati SUVs. I'm really not a fan of any Italian SUVs.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but Levante means minivan in Italian. Is that correct?
It does. It translates into Pacifica.
Yes, I thought that was the case.
Yeah, so these are the four cars that I threw up on the auction board, and I think they all end today. Yeah, they all end soon. So I don't know if I'm gonna have a chance. Oh yeah, it's too late. So this one ends within an hour, so we're not gonna have a chance to get to that. Shoot, I didn't plan through this correctly because I didn't know what the ending times were. So
We're It's fine. We're gonna it's gonna be fine. Of those four, what's your favorite? Let's take the Audi out of it because I think we already established that. Of the three, what's your favorite?
like, which would I drive?
Yeah, what would you?
It would. I think it would be close between the Hellcat and the Phantom.
Yeah, I kind of like. There's a part of me that really likes the Phantom.
I
It's not a
know.
big part of me. Maybe that's more information than anybody needs to know, but there's a part of me that really likes the Phantom.
I know. It would be so cool. I would love to step out of the Phantom with some Adidas, just like looking total like Run DMC from the 80s. I don't know why. I think that I'm just like, this would be so awesome. This would be so money.
You
So
have to. You just somebody. You get out. Somebody's going to say something, and you go, "Oh, this old thing." Like, I don't know. It's kind of cool.
yeah. How about you?
Yeah, it's the Phantom.
Yeah.
After the Avant, it's the Phantom. It's if you're gonna do it right. If you're gonna look like that guy, go all the way. Because anytime I see one, I'm always applauding. I'm like, way to go! Like
Yeah.
you do you, my friend.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Out of all of these, the Levante would be last.
yeah. Pacifica in Italian.
Yeah. Anyway, you created an event. Let's take a look at and you just called this. You're really creative.
Yeah, this one you could tell that I was in a rush a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was probably, I don't remember when I created it. But yeah, so a lot of this has been previously covered, right? I chose these four vehicles that are ending in a couple days. I think one ends today. But we've already seen the Mercedes. Um, I included a Grand Wagoneer, although not a Grand Wagoneer that I really want. It's got an engine swap. So it's not what I would do, but I did like the beach picture. So,
Hmm.
um, and it just kind of reiterates these things do look really, really cool. This one's lifted. It's got some bigger tires on it. It works. It definitely works for me. It's at 10 grand. I don't know what it's going to close at because it's not a particularly nice one, but I'd happily drive it. It definitely gives me old money vibes.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's in California, so we can assume that maybe it's rust free. I mean,
it looks
this does not look bad.
no, certainly a couple guys from the Northeast think it's in the wrapper perfect. So
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. And yeah, the engine swap is probably good for its reliability, but I don't think it really has 18,000 miles on it. Just a hunch.
Yeah. What do you think about the digital gauges of the era? Were you a fan?
No, I mean these are aftermarket
Oh, they
for
are?
sure. Yeah, these are definitely aftermarket. So the gauges of the period, the AMC slash Jeep gauges, were no great shakes. So it's not like they took something beautiful out. It's worth noting that the air conditioning, I believe, is factory. That even at this late stage in the game, it looks like an add-on from the 1960s.
Right.
But that's how they did air conditioning for Grand Wagoneers, which
Like
is wild.
one of those companies like Nice Air or something like that.
Yes, yeah. It's always got a great tagline, maybe some good typography,
Yeah.
but not very good air conditioning. I think we covered the Mercedes enough. I already gave my opinion on LS 430s. And then the last car, although I talked about 911s, I like this one in particular. And now I'm going to tell you the good first. I love the sepia brown. I think that's a wonderful period color.
Yeah.
I love the fact that this was owned by the same owner for 50 years. That gives me that old money look. It's got some dents, dings, and scratches, which adds to sort of the vibe of this car. It's also got some rust underneath it, which is concerning to me. It's not uncommon because these cars weren't galvanized until later. Um, but overall, this to me is an old money car, especially the fact that it's a Targa. I'm going to drive it on Sundays, and I think it's lovely. I think it's a great car. I think it's going to increase in value, even though it's already increased in value. $35,000 with 4 hours to go. I think it's going to close at 65 is my guess. Um, but again, old money aesthetic, sepia brown. This is it for me.
Hey, while I'm scrolling here, this RS, what? Oh, it ends in 1 minute. You want to watch this close?
Heck yeah, I do.
I don't like the stance of this. I don't like the stance of a 964 that's this low.
Agreed. I think it's too low for the street, and it's too expensive to be a race car.
And I
So
think the
what
wheels might be too big for this. I think they're I don't those are not factory, are they?
They're factory cup, well, they're factory design cup ones. I don't know if they're plus size aftermarket. They look like it, I agree. The other thing is, and this is an aesthetic choice, but if you're going to go with the most insane color ever, I love that color.
Mhm.
Do we have to do the red seat belts? Because it clashes and it hurts my eyes, and I
Yeah.
need eye bleach. That's
Mhm.
close to me. It's in
Westchester.
Westchester. Yeah.
It's
For,
Westchester, not Westchester.
that's right. That's right. 47,000 mile car. It's up to 312. Holy cow. I can't believe the values of
M
911s,
Me neither.
especially 964s.
Makes me angry.
That you didn't buy one, or just like, why are
No, it
we?
makes me angry because there's so many of them, people. I mean, I guess, well, people really want them. So I know and I've said this before, I know it's irrational, but it just makes me angry that people will pay so much for these cars when I mean, so the RS is a rare car, but there's just so many of these. It's just like you can't swing a dead cat, as you say,
Hmm.
without hitting one of these.
I think
They're just
that's true, but the thing that I always sort of follow up with, because we've talked about this before, is they work. They're usable cars. They
oh,
work.
Oh, you with your fancy bragging about how your car works, rather than
Yeah,
me and my Italian cars. I just want to look at it.
no, nobody says it doesn't work, but nobody says it does. It's fine.
Yeah.
So
Whoops.
it's at 3:18. It's got another 2 minutes. I don't quite understand when Bring a Trailer gets to the end, if somebody shoots a bid, it goes back to 2 minutes.
Yes,
Is that what? Yeah.
that's correct.
So this could go on for another hour.
Yeah, absolutely. So they were the first platform to do the 2 minute extension, and other people have followed suit. I think PCAR does a 1 minute extension. I think they're trying to say, "Oh, we're different.
One
ours is
minute.
1 minute."
Do
It's like
you do you like the extension or do you not like it?
I do because it's like ooh, ee, ooh, ee, ooh. Oh, it's sold 321.
No, it's still going.
Oh, I thought it was sold. Sorry, I saw that in the. Oh, no, but I do like the extension. I'm really with it today. I like the extension. I think it mimics a live auction where the auctioneer, if he's still like squeezing blood from a blood from a rock, he's going to keep going.
It's yeah, I guess I like it too. I don't know. I like the time component when we don't have extensions. Like, sorry, you either get it or you don't get it. But that's me talking as an observer and not a participant. If it
Right.
was my car that was selling, I would love the extension. It sounds like the best idea ever.
Yeah. All right. It's time for us to move on to something else. Do you want to play a game?
I love playing games. Absolutely. Yes. I'm even going to sit up in my chair. I'm ready.
All right. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to play a game called It Closed at What? And these are live or real auctions that closed in the past week. And John Boy has to look at them. He's got about 15 seconds to think about how much it closed at. And we're going to tell him if he's right or wrong. And this week, I want to institute a new rule. Do you know what it is?
Tell me.
Of course, you don't know because I didn't. I want us to understand. I think you have to be within 5% in order for it to be correct.
Okay.
It's going to be damn impossible. I don't think you're going to get any right.
Can we do 10%?
10% is going to be too easy.
Okay. Can we do 8? We don't need to negotiate right now.
I'm not going to, I can't do the math. Actually, 10 would make it easier. We're going to do 10% because it's a Friday.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
All right. It's going to come up and you're going to say to yourself, what does this have to do with today's theme of new money versus old money? Well,
Okay.
there are going to be some new monies, some old monies, and one or two no monies. Ready?
Do I have to guess that too?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Okay,
First
go.
one coming at you right now.
All right, I'm ready. Oh. Ooh. Oh. 50,000.
How much did you say?
I said 50.
50?
I did. Oh, you didn't show me that picture. I'll be honest with you. Some of the pictures didn't come up before I gave my wow. If I had seen that,
Tricked you.
yeah.
Wait a second. All you needed to see though was this. It looks like it was painted with a broom.
Definitely, it's nasty, and I don't know who Russell Wilson is, but he doesn't have good taste.
Former quarterback of the Seahawks.
Oh, really?
Did you see the interior? It has a Seahawks seat covers.
Well, yeah. God, that's
Anyway.
terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so bad. All right.
And
I'll be honest with you.
John, it didn't sell. Somebody said, strangers are offering me almost 16 grand to take this piece of shit out of my driveway.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
That's bad. But the truck market is so insane. That's why I threw 50 out there. The things that I see, I'm like, okay.
Well, that's why I had to stop and ask for clarification because you said I thought you could have said 15. I was like, wow, he's not far off.
I wish I did say 15. I'll be perfectly honest. I really, but not something I would spend on. All right.
You want
What
another
else we got?
chance?
Not on this one.
All right. Coming at you. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. 92 CMU, gray leather, basket weaves, air conditioning. Is it clean? Yeah, it's clean. It's in Michigan. 11,250. Is it 8?
You're like almost 100% off.
just can't stop it when you see the Lamborghini, then you know what's
Okay.
because cheap is cheap.
I like the musical selection.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's,
That
yeah.
seems like a bargain, right?
I mean, I could put it right. You know what I mean? Like, I see potential in it. I don't know how rusty it is, but it doesn't seem bad. 56 seems well bought.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree. These can be fun new money cars.
I think so.
All right. Next one coming up. I'm gonna give you a hint. I think I tell you the MSRP in the video.
Okay.
Keeping the targets tight,
All right.
yeah. Now we chilling on
3.
a cruise ship.
All right.
Take a jet to Korea, how we do it. All the players
23
playing the game,
Ferrari
haters looking like dudes gotta get the
SF90
money
Spider.
anyway.
I forgot what it said already. Carbon fiber brakes. Oh God, I'm so bad at these. What was what was the MSRP? I don't remember.
I think it was like $704.
Really?
Yeah.
658?
No, you're gonna get the. Sorry. This one somebody took a real bath on.
Wow.
This is a 1-year-old car that had few miles on it. What did it have? Like 100 miles? 100,
I think
180
it's
miles?
Yeah.
$704,000, sold it for 580. That's a difference of 125 grand.
That's a lot of money to lose in a year.
Yeah. But this
Is
is
that
what
is that an indication of this market right now on these cars?
I don't know. I think it would have to be a referendum on these cars or a mandate or no. It would have to really be a clear indication because this car is still for sale.
Okay.
So there are some at the dealership where they're still going to ask for MSRP or thereabouts.
Right.
Can you imagine? Like, so you don't have to wait in line. You don't have to play the Ferrari games. You don't have to get down on your knees and grovel or do anything else to the Ferrari dealer, to put you in line for one. So I think this is a sign of what's going on in the world, folks.
Yeah, I think you're right. Ooh, but I didn't see it.
Okay. You ready for more?
I'm ready. Let's go. 21 years owned, $64,000 shown, refurbished mechanicals. These cars are not worth a ton of money, even though they should be. God, I don't know. I'm lost today. Let's do 38.
Sold for 40. Having some trouble with my mouse today.
Old money, like beautiful car.
Yeah, it is. Have you ever driven one?
I have never driven one. No.
They're fantastic. They are. It is. I am surprised at how well these guys handle. They're quick. It's like driving an E-Type with 4 doors.
Yeah.
These were used. They always say these were used by the bank robbers in London.
Right. Michael Caine is always
correct.
His giant glasses are in it.
Yeah, but I think they're fantastic cars. I would look at this again. I just think they're elegant.
Yeah, it kind of does all the things, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I love those flexible joints.
Me too.
They're classy.
We have another one?
Yeah, we've got. I think we're not even halfway done yet.
Oh gosh.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
A little bit more pedestrian.
Oh, 98 Infinity, 5-speed, repainted leather. Michelin's 5-speed's kind of cool. $5,600 though, I think.
Close. Close. It was like 73.
Okay,
06. 7306.
that's all the money.
Mm-hmm. But it's in
But-
fantastic shape.
Yeah, I was gonna say for $7,300, it's a fun car, manual transmission, sporty. It sounds like a lot of maintenance has been done. I would take the tint right off of it.
Mhm.
Just my opinion. Yeah, I don't hate it for $7,300. I like it for $7,300.
We got more. The next one's going to be near and dear to your heart. Ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. Ah, yes. An 11 Saab 9.3, so it's yeah, paint. How many miles did it say it had?
I can't remember.
All right, doesn't matter. Let's go with 79.95, $8,000.
It's
No.
sold for 9,600.
Okay.
I think this is a really good deal. Like this is a car I'd buy for Jill, my wife, everybody, because I know that she likes Saabs and she would love a convertible. I would, and it's 2011. It's not an old car. It still looks
No.
modern.
It is. I agree with you. I think $10,000. It's a lot of car for the money. Do we know how many miles were on it? Like, can we go back and see? Now I'm curious.
Go back.
It looks super low miles.
Eight.
79,000
Yeah, that's not bad.
with new tires. Yeah, that's a car you get in and you drive. I like that.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
We got more coming your way.
Woohoo!
I need a better way to advance through this. This one was not a good deal. This next one coming up, or it's a good deal to buy. It was poorly sold.
14911 turbo. Holy cow. Okay, so carbon brakes, 20-inch wheels. I gotta really start paying attention to the miles because I totally forgot. Okay. 99.
Yeah, you're not far. It's 125. You're still getting
Yeah. Okay. 125,000. I guess
and
what it
here-
is the 9 is wrong. The 9, there's something wrong with the 9.
Yeah. Well, it's just the typeface. Now I'll send you a typographer. Great. So this car had, I think, 14,000 miles on it. No,
Okay.
I think 11,000. I think it's a 2014.
2014 with 11,000 miles on it. 125 makes sense. And the fact is, they're so freaking expensive now, new. They don't.
But Johnny boy, but new, this car was like 205. Somebody held onto it for 10 years, barely drove it, and lost almost 100 grand.
Cars are irrational. Like, and again, talking about if I hit the lottery tomorrow, I don't know that my buying habits would change all that much. I don't like the idea of losing that much money and not really getting the enjoyment out of it. That 9 is supposed to be moved. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Okay. What's next? I'm gonna obsess over that 9.
We get something Italian coming up.
28,000
miles. 28,000 miles.
Challenge grill with a replaced top. 85.
You're not far
Way
off. But it came in at 77.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the market on these has dipped quite a bit. So
Yeah.
a convertible 360 with an F1 transmission is like the least desirable one.
Yep.
So that's what happens. All right, next, you said Michael Caine before?
I did say Michael Caine. I did terrible Michael Caine impersonation. Oh, 65 Silver Cloud, 36,000 miles, one owner in off. This is tough to value. I'm so bad at these. Oh. 27. I'm not doing well today. 37. Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't think that there was that much of a market for these.
I don't think there is. I think this one happens to be in really nice shape. And I think also that Bozo the Clown carpeting, the foot pad.
That AC and up is not going to be like my Corvette's air conditioning, is it? No, maybe it is.
All right. Let's go. We got a couple more here. We have, because we're doing new money, old money.
All right.
Get ready.
Let's see.
Hold on to your teeth.
Oh. 24,000 miles, 17 previous owners. Jesus. Ed Bullion special. Let's go with. I'm so bad. I don't know what Lamborghini values are. 175.
What for a Diablo?
I don't know how much. I have
It
no
was
idea.
289. No, so these really exploded, and so like pre-COVID or even during COVID, you could like 200 or what 189, like as you said, or whatever 185.
Yeah.
You get a Diablo. Not anymore. They've
How
gone
much
crazy.
are Diablo? What did this sell for?
289.
289.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I get it.
I
don't
love the
understand.
17 owners.
17. As soon as I saw 17 owners, like my head exploded. We could roll the tape and watch me just like 17 owners.
Yeah, you can read some of the comments. I think it got a little feisty in the comment section last week when this closed. We got one more coming your way. And if this is the new money sports car, the next one we have coming up is the old money sports car.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. 07 Vantage, 25,000 miles with a rollback. 48.
Lower.
Less? 35? All right.
Whoops.
We're going to kick ourselves at some point for not buying all the Astons.
Yeah, but where are we going to put them all?
It's fair. All right. Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah. We're just about running out of time here. We're about an hour and 20 minutes in. You have time to do a game of, what is it?
Yeah, let's do that. I like that.
All right. So we're going to go to this.
I've seen this somewhere before.
Yeah, I know. But we'll pay attention. Pay attention to the velour, because you're going to see something similar in the second half of this game. What do you think this is?
I don't know, like an ISO Revolta.
Oh, why do you think it's Italian?
Is it an American-Italian hybrid? That's what the vibes I'm getting. Okay. So I love the green color of the gauges.
Benzina.
Benzene.
I got to pause here for you just so you can understand what you're seeing.
Yeah, the shifter is opposite, which is, it's not Prindle, it's Deliverer.
How about this? Does this help?
Like a Bizzarini?
No, that's close though. That's actually a really good guess.
ISO Grifo?
No, you're in the right ballpark.
Closer. Intermecchia?
No.
Oh my God, that's a Ghia. Is that a Ghia symbol? Did Ghia design this? I think you got me. Oh, okay. So it's a Lamborghini. It's the car we looked at last week.
No.
It's not. What is this? I think you stumped me. I don't know what this is. It's a weird Italian American
Ghibli. It's a Ghibli. Maserati.
Yeah.
I love these. These are absolutely gorgeous. And that interior, man, that takes some.
So before, when I said that Maseratis are what poor people think rich people drive. Yes.
But this is Maserati before Maserati went tank top.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of saying it. I like this. This is Saint-Tropez all day long.
Yeah, it is. All right. So speaking of Saint-Tropez, keep in mind Saint-Tropez. It's interesting because that's, a foreign destination. Foreign dignitary might live there. Well, here's the. Let's get to the next one, Stace. Come on. All right, I'm gonna roll a tape.
It's a GM. It's a Buick. It's a. Oh no, it's not a Buick. It's a Chrysler, New Yorker, like
How do you know it's
1985.
Chrysler?
The hubcaps with the pentagram, although it doesn't have the pentagram. It's got the Goodyear Arrivas on it. Oh, it's a SE special edition.
I love the sticker.
The sticker's amazing. Lou knows his alarms. Yeah, 80.
Getting
Is it
closer?
a Fifth Ave? Is it a Fifth
No.
Avenue? No,
No,
it's a New Yorker.
no.
I mean,
This
what is
one
it?
even would have.
It's not a Diplomat, is
It's
it?
a Diplomat.
So let's take the base model, but Reedman is like 4 miles from my house, by the way.
Okay.
Let's take the cheapest model. We'll outfit it and option it like a Fifth Ave, but everybody will think we are poor. Is this the ultimate old money car?
It might be.
Wow, I didn't see that coming. Holy cow, that's
Yeah.
a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. I thought you would yeah, you
I like that.
you got it at the end. And if you held me by my ankles and shook me upside down for an hour, I would not have been able to call out the name Diplomat if you challenged me to that, because
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. So we're just about wrapping up here. Let's talk about what oh, wait a second. Was there one more thing you wanted to talk about? Was there?
I mean, we could
next time.
We could save it for next time.
All right. All right. So just so everybody's clear, we're going to be debating the merits of one model of car from a famous automaker. John thinks that is their best example of a car, and I'm going to tell him how wrong he is.
That's a reason to tune in if ever there was one.
It is.
Yes.
All right. So this is good, John. I'll catch you later, and thanks for making the magic with me here.
Yeah, man, this was a lot of fun.
Bye.